No copyright. No copyright today. No copyright. It's been a while since I did a video, so, I felt the need to do one today. I hope everybody's morning is going awesome. Hope everybody's morning is going well. If it isn't, I hope your afternoon gets better. You just over the day. You get some rest. Tomorrow's better. The rest of the week is good. So, today, out and about doing what I do. Getting things done, finishing up the morning. Got another job coming up in a few, so got a little bit of time to kill. And I'm doing what I literally do, my own personal therapy, and that's playing music. Going through things. Listening to just whatever I'm in the mood to listen to. I was listening to some of that new J. Cole earlier. Really digging that. Decided to move to some other genres and stuff like that, and got in my head a little bit, started thinking about things, and I just said, the whole concept of me saying time machine, because what I do on my Facebooks and sometimes on my Instagram, I'll post whatever I'm listening to, whatever I'm in the mood with, and I'll put time machine, and I'll put the year that whatever song I'm listening to it came out, and obviously depending on the year, whether or not that was when I heard it, obviously I didn't hear, if I put a song up that came out in 77, obviously I didn't hear it in 77. So, I'll put time machine, and that concept in itself is not a new concept at all. Plenty of artists and people have talked about how music takes them back. I take it to a whole other level with myself. Again, not saying this is a new concept or anything, but when I say time machine, that song reminds me of something. That song brings me back to a place in my life, whether it be from when I first heard it, or whether it be, just at that time, that's just the genre that I listened to, I just bombarded myself with, or whether or not that's at the time what I had going on in my life. And a particular song that I was listening to this morning, and the way it hit me this morning, and it's a song I listen to all the time. It's one of my favorite tracks by Frank Ocean, and I play it all the time, and I'm just like, I'm listening to it, and I think I repeated it about, no lie, no less than 25 times. It's a short song. It's probably like 2 minutes and a couple seconds, 2 minutes and like 30-40 seconds or something like that. So it's a short song. It's not long at all. But I just kept replaying it because I just was really feeling it this morning. And every time I replayed it, I would just remember something else. I would just go back and think about something else. And I looked up the year it came out, and I was like, 2012. What was going on in 2012? 2011, 2012. What was going on in my life? College. Trying to figure out what the next step is. Driving, hotel, just going over different aspects of my life at that time. A certain area I lived in. Right before a really big change happened in my life, as far as my family dynamic and, things like that. And I'm just going through everything in my mind, and I'm like, man, this is really bringing me back to a place. And I'm like, remembering, who I dealt with at that time, who, the person at that time I felt very strongly for, and the people around me, the people that I kicked it with, my crew. And I look at it today, and I'm like, I don't even speak to none of those people. And I'm just saying, man, that's a trip how life goes, man. People that you thought you was going to be forever, kicking it with. And, and it's not like we don't speak anymore for any negative reasons or anything like that. It's just life moves on. You're not in the same space anymore. Your lives have taken different paths, so it's nothing. You don't really have anything in common to speak about anymore. So as I'm going through the thoughts and I'm continuously listening to the song, I'm taking in more from the past and just being very introspective. And it brings me to the topic of the video, you know, as far as the time machine aspect goes, and just looking back and being introspective on certain things. You know, I had a friend tell me I'm very introspective. I always take the time to go back and I replay something over and over and over and over and over again. And I try to, like, I'm the type of person where I'll go back and I'll look at old messages and I'll just replay something and I'll be like, did I handle that correctly? Was there a better way I could have done that? And I've always been like that to a certain extent. The problem is, excuse me, my old problem in my younger years with me being introspective is I would down myself at the same time. I would belittle myself. I would berate myself. So let me give an example. Let's say, you know, I was friends with somebody and I was friends with somebody and they hurt my feelings through a certain situation, whatever. You know, just an example. Instead of today, if somebody hurts my feelings, I'll just be like, you know what? That hurt my feelings. Okay. Why did it hurt my feelings? Now, don't get me wrong. It may not be as smooth as a transition, but at the end of the day, today, I would say, that hurt my feelings. Why the hell did that hurt my feelings? I may not let them know, but I'll be like, why did that hurt my feelings? Did I really not really care? Did I think we were something that we weren't? Did I think we were better than that? Did I think that we should, you know, I deserved a little bit more respect, you know? Or do I think I should have known that? You know, I'll go through the motions and try to get to the bottom of something and start peeling back the layers as far as why something may have gotten to me. Before, in my younger years, I would literally get angry at myself for being hurt. I would say, who the hell do they think they are? Why the hell do you give them so much power? Why did you this? Why are you letting them get to you? You're weak, you're this, you're that, you're nothing, you're this. And that's where, like, I know it sounds crazy, but that's just how I was, you know. That's where the self-worth comes in, and a lot of other issues that I had to deal with in my past. Not saying that they're all gone, but I'm just growing to, you know, get better at handling them and things like that. So being introspective, going back and looking at certain things and seeing how I used to handle things, you know, listening to songs and getting in a vibe, time machine, you know, being brought back to 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, a couple months ago, and just going over decisions that I've made, actions that I've done, and, you know, I sit down and I say, you know, I am getting better. And I actually had a friend tell me that as well, just from them knowing me in the last few years that they've known me. They've recognized the growth within me, you know, and I truly appreciate them acknowledging it, and because it's not like we were just talking about it, you know, they just brought it up and we spoke about it, and they're like, yo, a lot of things I've seen you've gotten better with. You've gotten better with your anger. You've gotten better with your patience. You know, you continuously get better. And, you know, it makes me feel better knowing that somebody, you know, that doesn't necessarily have a dog in this fight has seen that, because then it makes me feel like, okay, I am doing better. I'm not just talking this, be a better person. I'm not just saying, you know, I'm growing and this and that. You need to grow. And I'm not just talking that. I'm not just acting like that's something that's, you know, is so outlandish. You know, I'm actually taking the time out to grow as a human being, to grow as a person, to understand that with this growth, you know, there are going to come some things that change with me. You're going to become a little bit more patient. You're going to become a little bit more forgiving. That's something I definitely am glad I'm working on, you know, that I continuously work on, because that forgiving aspect of things, man, that's a tough one for real. Especially when I think I didn't do nothing wrong and a person wrongs me, especially, you know. I have my way of dealing with me, and it's through music, it's through driving, it's through riding, and it's through me just being to myself, to check myself, having people recognize certain things, having a mother that keeps it straight up with me, having a brother that keeps it straight up with me, having a couple friends that just keep it straight up with me. Hell, even having friends that have a different perspective. We don't think alike at all, but just hearing, sometimes it's best to hear things from a different perspective. That way you can get a better understanding of things. Listening to people's stories, listening to people talk about how they view things, it gives you a better sense of how others may think, how others may take things. See, in this life that we continue to live every single day, it would behoove one to really try and understand the people that surround them, really try and understand the world as it's evolving or devolving, however you want to look at it, and truly understand your place in it, and truly understand how to maneuver in it. And in order to do that, you got to be a better you. You got to be the best you. I always come back to that. I always put that in my videos, because that's a concept that I think we let get away from us. That's a concept that I think we don't put too much time into. Yeah, a person will say, you know, be the best you can be, but what does that mean to you? To me, to be a better me, I look at certain attributes that just a person 10 years ago would definitely say, you're a good guy, but you're angry. You're a good guy, but you're this, you're that, you know, or you know, you don't take nothing from nobody. You're quick with it. You like to talk people down and all of that type stuff. The whole time, you know, I'm over there fighting with my own self-worth and stuff like that. And it's just crazy. And it's like, to me, being a better me is learning how to deal with life as it comes, not being unreasonably unhealthy, you know. I think one should hold themselves accountable, but I don't think one should berate themselves and break themselves down. You know, my mother taught me to never let anybody break you down. You know, my family, everybody, don't let nobody talk down to you. You know, we all get that. And it's crazy that 99% of the time, 95% of the time, I don't know, whatever. It's a high number. It's a very high number. I really didn't let, in the past, I really didn't let people break me down for the most part. I was always the icing on the cake. I was the one that was friggin' shooting my own arm up with poison. I was the one that was chopping my own tree down. A person would say something and it would hurt my feelings or something, but then I would turn around and hurt my own damn feelings and go even further. You aren't. You're this. You're that. Look at this. You look at how weak you are. Look at and listening to certain songs brings me back to places where I'm like, damn, I would have handled something so much better if I was this person back then. And Lord knows if I was this person back then, whew, who would I be today? Whew, whole other echelon, man. And it trips me out sometimes. And I get a moment or two where I can be proud of myself and say, yo, you're really doing good, man. You're really doing good. You may not necessarily be where you want to be in certain avenues of life, but as far as you as a person, you understanding who you becoming more, you understanding who you are, because that's another thing too. You have to grow into knowing who you are. You may not necessarily like pull a 180 or something like that, but you have to know your triggers. You have to know the things that bother you. You have to know the things that annoy you, you know? And you have to do your best to either, you know, get over that, because sometimes some things annoy you. That shouldn't annoy you. You know, I'll be very real right now. Some things that annoy you, and it's like, it's really not that big of a deal. That shouldn't get to you the way that it does. Other things that just look, that's gonna annoy me forever and a day, then you gotta know, that's my signal on. Then you just gotta know that those are the things that you need to avoid. Or if they are certain things that people do, and it's a person that you do want to keep in your life, hey, you know, I don't like that. You know, that's not for me. That annoys me. Stop it. And if that's something that you got to do, then I need to, you know, take 2 steps back. We can still be cool, but I'm gonna just take 2 steps back, because I can't deal with that. So all that to say, you know, I have my way of looking back on life, looking back on things, and checking myself, you know, with my music, with, you know, the driving that I do, the riding that I do. It helps me to be introspective when it comes to who I am. Do you have those moments where you sit back, you know, do you have a quarterly check? Maybe I do mine's a little bit too much. Maybe I do mine's damn near every day, you know, just go back and think about something and whatever like that. You know, it may not necessarily be as deep. You know, I'll probably think about, did I handle this one right? Or, I wonder how next, you know, I'll think about things. You know, it's not always going to be deep. And I'm not saying that it should always be deep. I'm not even saying that you should do it as often as I do. That's just who I am. You know, I've always been like that. It came from a place of negativity when I was younger, because of my self-worth and how I felt like I wasn't worthy, and I was like useless and just unloved and stuff like that. So it came from a negative place when I was younger, but as I've grown, it's changed. It's evolved into a place where, no, I can check myself. I can, you know, go back and look over things. And when I say check myself, I don't necessarily mean that, oh, you wrong. No, not like that. When I say check, I mean literally just check up on things, you know, as I'm driving, you know, and I think about where I was, and I'm like, or if I do listen to something recent like today or whatever like that, you know, I'll be like, how you feeling? You know, how's things going? There's nothing wrong with that. And I ask, you know, how often do you do a checkup on yourself? It doesn't have to be every day. Hell, do it quarterly. Do it like a corporation. You know, just ask yourself, you know, everything good? You're in a good mental space? Are you okay? What's wrong? What's bothering you these days? How do you feel about who you are as a person? How do you feel about life in general? How do you feel about just, are you being a better you? Are you being a better person? Do you like who you are? And if all those things are yes, hey, I'm not one to judge, because if you like being a jackass or whatever like that, you like I go back and I look at certain things and I'm like, I don't like where how I was. Or I'll look back on certain things and I'll be like, damn, that wasn't cool. I didn't handle that well. I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have said that. Certain things. Not everything. Certain people go back and look at certain things I said and be like, yeah, I'm glad. Hey, nah. You'd be surprised. Nah, certain things. Nah, nope. I'm okay with what I said. Probably shouldn't have said it in the moment. But, it's just all jokes aside, though. It's my time machine, my vehicles, my motorcycle, my tools, it helps me. That's my therapy. And I'm pretty sure I've said that in a video before, but just like I said today, just listening to the song that I was listening to and going back and thinking about, the people that were in my life at that time, the good times that I had with a particular person at that time, and just looking at who I was as a person at that time and the environment in college and things. It makes me very thankful that God has allowed me to live this long, to continue to grow as an individual, that God has allowed me to be as introspective as I can, that He's taken out some of that negativity that I've had about myself. I'm glad that life and the universe and everything is showing me that I don't have to be that negative towards myself in order to be introspective. That certain things that have happened in my life has opened my heart up, has taught me to forgive, has taught me to let go of certain hurt, certain people that have come to me and helped me let go of things. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm very thankful that I was blessed to see these things. And I pray that I continue to grow and I continue to just be a better person. And whatever lessons I need to learn, I learned them, with humility. And whatever lessons that I've taught people, I'm not going to sit there and act like I'm always going to teach a good lesson. Hey, I may make a mistake and do somebody wrong, and they'll have to take that lesson however long they have to take it and learn from it, learn to forgive, learn to let go, whatever. Sometimes I'm not ashamed to say that, sometimes I am the villain. Sometimes I'm the villain when I shouldn't be, but sometimes I can be the villain. And I think most of us understand that notion. And sometimes you are the villain. And I mean, some people, they revel in the idea, it's at times. But anyway, I end this video just to say, be a little bit more introspective if you can. If you're fine, then cool, no worries, Take the time out to think about the things that you've done. Take the time to think about the things that have been brought to your attention and really sit back and say, could I have handled it better? Sometimes it's not a matter of it's not a matter of right and wrong. Sometimes it's really not. Sometimes it is. But sometimes it's not a matter of right and wrong. Sometimes it's really just a matter of, could I have handled that better? And majority of the time, you'll say yes. You may not have had the tools at the moment. You may not have had the maturity and things like that. But just going back and saying, could I have handled that better, will open you up to certain things. But what do I know, right? I don't know nothing. Be safe, y'all. Have a good day.